Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the peace dealer, moon in Aries, sun in Cancer. It rained a little bit. It's been raining a little bit for the past few days, which is really interesting. Not too much, and maybe it's not as interesting as I think it is, but the moon is going to form its last quarter square as we now complete this harvest. Many of you have come into more awakening, knowledge, and realization of who you are than ever, with synchronicities to boot. Please don't necessarily get so caught up on you being some kind of deity or angel or god or goddess. Most of these essences you may connect with so that they guide you into understanding who you are, but attaching to them does not make you any more deified. It holds you back. Okay, some of these guys looking up to you, so if you're trying to be them, you're stunting yourself. I don't know who lied to you and told you that the most glorious beings ever are gods and angels. Demons look for your body to possess. Angels can't experience this reality without your body to possess, which they need your permission for. And certain gods can't even approach you if you don't give them permission. That's why dark forces and fallen angels have to legitimately trick you into giving them permission. I will not be unapologetic in admitting the 2020 elections was a literal election battle between demons and angels. And a majority of people gave the decision to these evil ass demons to finesse you and mandate all this shit and raise prices when you could have just chose your Lord and Savior Trump. It is what it is. All jokes aside, and this is not meant to be political, but it is meant to kind of show how most of these beings and the spiritual politics behind these things cannot override a certain sense of free will. They need your permission. And in order for people to deceive you outright on saying all these things about you, in order to scare you or influence you to make decisions, they have to lie to you about who you are. So I hope you've really felt sincerely the deeper awakening of who you are, as the moon in Aries is going to facilitate this harvest of awakening this in Cap, understanding the knowledge in Aqua, and experiencing the high divine reality of this, of what it's like to feel and be you, right? Now you're taking action in Aries. You're understanding the authenticity of how it feels to be you. You're understanding post-awakening who you are. Now that you know more than ever and feel more than ever who you are, it's time to understand in the most passionate, raw way who you are, just updated, because you understood this when we started Cancer season. You were enlightened to this nature of your identity before. It's not like you're learning this newly, you're just learning new aspects of it newly. And so you're feeling it more deep, more confident post Leo moon, and more bold than ever. Because who do you have to say sorry to? Who do you have to say sorry for, unless you can acknowledge you were wrong in what you did, take responsibility for it, but don't let people bully you into admitting or accepting someone you're not and something that you didn't do. Because something could be wrong to someone else, but it's not wrong at all, objectively speaking. So let people's subjective issues be their subjective issues. If through insecurity and passive aggressive manipulation, that's the only way they can influence you, is because they're weak. You're powerful. You know who you are. Okay, so not only are you coming into an understanding of this, the third quarter square now highlights the first quarter square in Libra, where you had to balance this initial feeling of yourself socially so you can get a feel of, okay, how is who I am balancing with other people. Then we went into Capricorn, harvested that in the full moon, like, okay, here's how to use the powers of who I am, and boom, now we're in Aries, completing this harvest and having you break through completely 10th house to the Cancer sun, the higher legacy and career direction or outer focus of who you are. Okay, this is not necessarily perceptual like Pisces. The moon in Pisces really revealed through synchronicities how much more to believe in how you feel in yourself, so that you can now adjust your perception to the direction needed to move forward authentically in Aries. So you're going to be feeling a lot of action. You're going to be feeling the push to take action. And that's because cardinal Aries and cardinal Cancer, as this will square at the end, will crescendo T-squaring Pluto to break you through a direct application of this. Because it's one thing to feel that that's who you are. It's another thing to be put in a real life situation individually where you have to act on who you are. Does that make sense? You can think you're Thor, the god of hammers, or god of thunder all day. You can make yourself believe that you've seen synchronicity. You saw a lightning bolt when you were thinking about Thor, so that means I'm Thor. It's okay to believe that. This is your subjective world and imagination. If that's how it works, don't let anyone else tell you that you're delusional. However, when it comes time to actually take action as Thor, do you buckle under pressure with that Pluto square and just be who you really are, or do you take action as the god of thunder? Okay, and let's not get so wrapped up in all these deities, because like this is just new age spiritual trap. Like some of you connect with them, but you're here to be human, so embrace your humanity. That's what Moon in Aries is going to help tie in all these aspects of yourself to how you can take action down here. And so regardless of that, Jupiter's influence is going to take that feeling to the next level. The actions that you're taking are going to define very powerfully your character to the next level. And it's actually going to feel very exhilarating, because certain things that you weren't confident about doing, certain things you didn't really understand about elements of your divinity and raw power, you're more clear on than ever, and it's forging the way to manifest the value of this when Moon returns in Taurus. It's just when the Moon returns in Taurus, we'll be finishing Cancer season, and that's the stage, that's the production, Moon in Taurus, of the stage that we'll perform on in Leo season. Roll call, Moon in Gemini, and that's when the new Moon in Leo will come. And now the being who you feel you are, you're going to express on stage courageously with a few new tips and tricks that you've learned to wow the stage, to wow the audience on stage. Many of you are realizing that now that you have awakened to who you are more than ever, because it's not the first time, you can't really be manipulated by people who take advantage of, by governments, by collective and social influences and authorities that take advantage of your doubt about who you are. When people can play these identity politic games and say, oh, you're this, so you should do this, you recognize, no, bitch, I'm not who you say I am. I am that I am. Okay? And so the rhetoric aligned around that doesn't apply to me. I know who I am. All these deceptions that are in play work, and the fear that is projected work to people who don't know who they are. Because if you know who you are, you won't let any external message, advice scare you. Even if they're hitting you with facts that seem to be pressing, you know who you are. And it's not based on some pseudo-intellectual, delusional aspect of, oh, I believe in myself spiritually. This is based on real life experience that you've had to release so many blockages and awaken into this wisdom of who you are. So fully expect people to disrespect that. Fully expect people to see that as controversial, because it goes against normative principles and protocol that are dying anyway. But they need to hold on to, because that's the only last stand of control they have over you. That's why there's such huge push to guilt and shame people who go out of the broad and narrow, the broad path, and walk your own narrow path. You can't regulate that kind of path. So it's not going to be rewarded. It's going to be frowned upon. But you didn't come here to fit in and be popular. You came here to be you. Unless you didn't know that. You actually came here to be yourself. So embrace that. Moon in Aries is going to help you understand the fuck out of that and evolve that. The Moon, Jupiter, Chiron aspect will supplement healing post-evolution and conjunction so that you can take this to the T-square. And this is going to be so powerful. You're literally going to feel an advancement of how much more boldly and powerfully you understand how to apply this feeling of yourself into the sincere expression of how you connect socially with others. So unlike Aries season where you were more rawly defined with that new moon with Jupiter, well, it wasn't with Jupiter. We're gonna have that new moon with Jupiter next year. But with that new moon while Jupiter's still in Pisces, where you were still evolving the belief in yourself, you felt that raw definition. Now you're filling it in with water, with color. You're fueling it. You're feeling it more sincerely than ever, and it feels good. God is good. Feel God within you. All right? That collective expression of eternity expressed infinitely. All right, shout out to the magician. Shout out to my magicians watching this. Shout out to the magicians watching this. Shout out to the angels. Shout out to my angels watching this. Okay, this isn't about getting stuck in a fantasy classification of who you are. It's embracing the reality of the fantasy of who you are. Shout out to the Divine Venus and her algorithm, which is still one of the best. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Google the Divine Venus Rose line, or you can look up my YouTube channel, the video I had with her. It's probably one of the coolest things you'll ever see. All right, especially if you know your moon sign degree. Regardless though, this is really, really, really beautiful because we have Venus that is entering Cancer. Venus in Cancer is literally the Two of Cups. Shout out to Big Empress Energy. She actually pulled that card, so make sure you watch that video if you haven't. It's it's on her YouTube or Instagram, Big Empress Energy. What's very interesting is the Two of Cups is mutual love. It's trust. You're now ready to take the insight of how you've been communicating beauty from your heart and share it sincerely with people, situations, experiences that mirror and blend this. But listen. Don't be out here, you know what I'm saying, feeling the potential of how things can work with people and enabling people to treat you like you're not as important for that attention. It's one thing to be persistent. It's okay to be persistent. It's another thing to chase or go after influences that just aren't necessarily reciprocating that. And if you want to be stubborn and put yourself through that poison, that's a form of pleasure for some of you, and you should enjoy it. But if you're ready to keep it real about that, there's so much opportunities out there that will not require you lessening yourself to get attention from somebody else. No matter how much you think they need to know you, share your message, say how you feel, move the fuck on, okay? Because you're going to be presented with ample opportunity to connect with people who actually enjoy you and who you don't have to hold back your true self because they think you're weird. Don't disrespect yourself like that, please, okay? Especially with the square to Chiron that's going to happen subsequently later, and Jupiter, which will really work to expand and boost this, albeit clash a bit, but test and challenge how authentically you can maintain your sincerity. Case in point, though, the fact that you've awakened more to who you are and that you can't really be manipulated due to that doubt is making people very bitter around you. The social collective energy, they can't put you in its box. You're going to notice more than ever on this day there's nothing they can do. And so you're going to feel that, and this is going to feel so empowering because those same influences that seek to look down on you, you know what I'm saying? They were never looking down on you. They were looking down on you, but they were in a lower position because they lowered themselves, getting in their ego. All right. And like actions that are taken, it's not arguments, actions that are taken here prove this. Thank you. Like the stuff that you do is now exemplifying everything you've done to express this through, where all people can do now is just still be bitter. That's it. Let these bitches be bitter. That's it. Because you have to understand they live so much of a lie. The cognitive dissonance that has now climaxed, there's nothing they can do. And you're a shining reminder and example of how they never knew what the fuck they were talking about. Of how they placed bets about on you that you completely destroyed. Okay, so walk in that glory, walk in that power. If these weak ass little bitches want to be pissed off, let them be pissed off. They ain't shit. And I hope you feel this vulgarity. Feel into that moon in Aries. Be raw. Because this is as much as a victory as ever. You establish this 10th house success here, which you'll break through, and then you'll manifest the results Taurus, okay? Enjoy. Godspeed.